There are a lot of guns in Smash. There's actually 24 different guns. And today we're going to be ranking all of them, from best to worst. Okay, so first off, what is a gun? A gun is a weapon incorporating a metal tube from which bullets, shells, or other missiles are propelled by explosive force. But for the purposes of this tier list, I'm going to say that the material doesn't matter, so we're just going to look past that. Let's start with something pretty basic. It's Fox's gun. It's a pretty cool looking gun, I would say, but I wouldn't say it's really that useful. It doesn't really do that much damage, you know. It doesn't have that oomph to it. Like, you're not gonna die if you're getting hit by it. I'm guessing it probably just stinks a little. But in terms of like visual factor, I think it looks pretty nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in B tier. And then we have Samus's gun. Now this gun is super versatile. You can shoot super missiles, you can shoot homing missiles, you can charge, it can even grab you. So I think this one easily goes in S tier just because of that. Now, because we just did Samus, we might as well do Dark Samus. I think pretty much everything that applies to Samus applies to this one as well, except for the fact that it's a knockoff. And therefore, it just has to go in the tier below. And then we have the knockoff of the knockoff, Me Gunner. If Dark Samus is like the off-brand Samus, then Me Gunner is like what you get if you order Samus on Temu. It's still pretty versatile, so I don't think it's quite D tier, but I'll put it in C tier. Falco's gun. It's actually the same model as Fox's, which is why we have these stock icons down here. It is a little bit stronger, but it's also a little bit slower, so I think we're gonna go ahead and put it alongside Fox's gun. Then we have Joker's gun.
For his neutral special, he wields a gun.
Apparently, this one isn't really a real gun even. It's a model gun. And it only really hurts if you believe it will. So in terms of strength, it's not really the best. It just deals a little knockback, you know, but I think we could go ahead and put it in B. It's pretty standard. Diddy Kong's peanut pop gun. Now this one, obviously it shoots like a gigantic peanut at you. I've never seen a peanut that big in my life, which is unique. It doesn't really deal that much damage, but I like the fact that it's a very unique concept. Just visually, it's way different. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in A tier. Now we're gonna go ahead and rank Snake's arsenal here, which is the Nikita, the Mortar, and the RPG. And this actually makes Snake the character with the most guns, even though people say he doesn't have guns. Technically, these are guns, apparently. It's just not what you typically think of when you think of a gun. First off, Nikita, incredibly useful. You can literally aim it around. It moves around. For that alone, I think it goes in A tier. And for the RPG, it's very, very slow, but also ridiculously powerful. But it's also pretty badass that it just aims it at the ground like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in S tier just for the badassery of it. Mortar, I think, is the weakest of the trio. It's just not that exciting. It would be like cooler if he had Dacus still, like in Brawl. Unfortunately, he doesn't have that, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it in B tier. Now, here we have Captain Falcon's gun. Now, Captain Falcon has had 5 games to show us what this gun can do. And even at his worst in Brawl, when he was like at the bottom of the tier list, he wasn't like, you know, I should give this gun a try. No, he decided not to. So I'm gonna go ahead and say this is a useless gun. It's probably just for show. So it automatically goes in D tier. We also have this subscribe gun. What? How did that get in there? No, this one isn't from Smash, so I think we can go ahead and skip that one. Villagers up Smash. Now, this one doesn't really feel like a gun just because it's like fireworks, but technically it is launching a projectile with explosive force through a tube. So it qualifies as a gun. But I think we can go ahead and put that in like C tier, honestly. And then we have Bowser Jr.'s cannon. For some reason, this one shoots the cannonball like really slowly. And for that reason alone, I think it's just gonna be C tier, you know? It needs a little bit more oomph. And here we have Rob. Yes, Rob is a gun. His eyes are like camera lenses, which are tubes, and he shoots a laser out of them. So he counts. Now, he's pretty versatile, you know, he can do a lot of other stuff than just shooting a laser. So I think we could go ahead and put it in like S tier. Like, this guy does everything, you know? And here we have Wolf's Blaster. Now, this one, just look at it. It looks amazing. It's probably the most badass gun here. And just for the like visual elements alone, I think we're gonna have to put this one in S tier. It also has this thing up front, which if you didn't know, is called a bayonet, which leads us to Bayonetta. Now, this gun doesn't really do all that much, I'd say. It does a little bit of damage, you know. It has pretty decent range, but she does have 4 of them, which I don't know if that's a positive or a negative, because on one hand, having 4 guns is kind of badass. But also, does she need all 4 of them to make it work? But she's not doing that much with each one of them. I don't know. I think we can put it in B tier, honestly. Wild Gunman. Now, Wild Gunman does have a gun, and it deals a decent amount of knockback. It's also decently fast, but it is kind of lacking in the visual department. So I think we can maybe put it in like B tier, honestly. And here we have the NES Sapper. Now, if you didn't know, the Duck Hunt Duo is more of a Duck Hunt Trio, because there's also a person aiming the NES Sapper on the screen, and that's what bounces the can around and also works as Duck Hunt smash attacks. Overall, I think this one is kind of meh. The fact that you also don't even see it is kind of a disappointment, so I think C tier. And here we have Mega Man's hand cannon. Now this one is extremely versatile. Just from the go, it can shoot pellets, it can shoot metal blades, it can shoot tornadoes, it can even turn into a sword. So I think just automatically, based on usefulness, this one is S tier. K-Rool's Blunderbuss. Now this one is pretty lacking, I'd say. It also shoots out the cannonball pretty slowly, but it can suck it back up again. Unfortunately, I don't think that's enough to put it in B tier. I think it's gonna have to be in C tier. And here we have Zero Suit's Stun Gun. Now this one doesn't do that much itself. It just kind of stuns you in place. She does also aim it at the ground, which, as I previously stated, I think is pretty badass. So I think we can go ahead and put it in A tier. It does set up nicely into other moves, so there you have it. And then we also have Kazooie. Yes, Kazooie is a gun. Kazooie is pretty versatile. She can shoot out of both ends, and she can also run around, you know? So for all of those things, I think we can put her in A tier. And here we have Min Min's Dragon Arm. Yes, this is also a gun, technically. But this gun can do a lot. It can grab you, it can shoot a laser, it can hit you. But I think the range is pretty lacking on the gun side, so I think maybe we're gonna have to put it in like B tier. There's not enough space here though. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Now it's in frame. Okay. Last but not least, we have Inkling's gun. Inkling hits you with this gun both for F tilt and backer. Probably some other moves too. Down air. So this is more of like a close combat weapon rather than a gun, honestly. But I like the fact that it has a unique ammo type with the ink. I also love the design of it. It's like this play toy, you know. It's perfect. So I'm gonna put it in A tier. And there you have it. That's my tier list for all the guns in Smash. I didn't include items because I wanted to keep it just to the characters. And here you have it.